28 minutes after midday, and the National Communications Officer of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, Sammy Gyamfi, has just given the marching orders. And so behind me, you can see protesters making their way onto the Gifford Road now. We see security also here, the police here in their numbers, well equipped, and of course prepared to provide security and safety for the demonstrators who will be proceeding on this particular march to register their displeasure with current economic hardships in the country. And so demonstration has begun. We'll be joining them all the way through the Lands Commission, through Christ the King, onto the Liberation Road, and then we're expected to terminate at Parliament. Procession has moved all the way from the Elwak Sports Stadium area down through the Lands Commission area. Currently in your shot, you are seeing demonstrators led by a police human barricade, currently just going past WAEC, approaching the head office of the DVLA. One of the lead organizers, Mr. Bernard Mona, a former national chairman of the PNC, who will give us some insights as to really what is expected to happen today. Grateful that you could join us. Welcome to City TV, sir.
It's a delight to be with you.
It's been 2 days of protest. Today is day 2. First of all, your general impressions about today's exercise.
So far, the police have displayed high level of professionalism. And you see that today that they decided to conduct themselves within the remit of integrity. Everything is going on smoothly. Yesterday, when they chose to behave unprofessional, things went helter-skelter for all of us. And so today, when we met them and I asked them whether they were going to behave unprofessional, they assured us they were not going to do so. So I have no doubt that as protesters, we will do everything within the limits that we can to ensure that this thing goes on peacefully. You can see that as we are even moving, we came to the police to ask them whether they have cordoned the road as we have told them, and that we also be sending our people there to make sure that we move through as we have agreed. So we have no difficulty whatsoever.
I think that if you look at our country and the economic situation, never in the history of Ghana that you see an inflation since the Fourth Republic, inflation going this high. I mean, within a very short time, look at the price of fuel. It has almost doubled. And if you look at all these things and the ostentatious life our leadership is leading, here is a country that we say we are doing free SHS, yet we don't have money to buy books for school children. We don't have money to pay for school feeding, yet our president is spending a whopping 20,000 euros an hour to rent a private jet, living a lifestyle like an Arabian king.
The protesters are on the uphill towards Christ the King. If you know this route, the traffic light at Christ the King is directly opposite the Jubilee House. When you get here, I mean, you see the police clearly judging from the events of day one, fully prepared to make sure that really no protester is able to get close to the Jubilee House. So right from the traffic light is a human barricade. I mean, you see the metal barriers and all that, but you see policemen in their uniforms standing behind these metal barricades just to make sure that no protester is able to sneak in or behind them to cross over to the Jubilee House. So the protest has made it onto the Liberation Road, just in front of the Jubilee House. We can hear the chanting, the singing of the Arise Ghana Youth song, led by Communications Officer of the NDC, Sammy Gyamfi. Behind me, a sea of red and black, literally a sea of human beings who are making the procession on the Liberation Road, right from the front of the Jubilee House, and they're going to make an ascent on the Akwaje interchange. And so you can see the procession slowly, of course, coming all the way up onto the Akwaje interchange. The traffic situation it's not as bad as you would expect, because clearly the police has been proactive. A rather enthusiastic crowd chanting, singing, and of course carrying placards with all sorts of inscriptions on them. Currently within the ministry's enclave, the finance drive, this is directly opposite the Accra High Court. Now this is the enclave that takes you through the Ghana Revenue Authority all the way down to the finance ministry. Now when we got here, in waiting were two Deputy Ministers of Finance, Abna Ashari and Dr. John Kuma. And so clearly it gives you an indication that leadership of Rise Ghana Pressure Group, organizers of the Kroma Eshe demonstration, would be presenting a petition to the Finance Ministry, and for which reason these two Deputy Ministers have been elected or have elected themselves to receive this petition on behalf of the Finance Ministry.
We are here this afternoon on a simple mission that Kroma Eshe, and that everything, the economic hardship that the people of Ghana are going through as a result of the bad policies that are formulated by the Ministry of Finance. And we are coming here, despite that the petition is addressed to the Speaker of Parliament, that is the representative of the people, we see it fit to give you a copy so that you understand the issues therein and take pragmatic steps to alleviate the suffering of the people of Ghana. One, we call on the Ministry of Finance to take steps to scrap the obnoxious electronic transfer levy that is imposing more hardship on the people of Ghana, siphoning their capital, and above all, confiscating our savings. Two, that the ministry should take urgent steps to ensure that inflation is brought down to the barest minimum so as to allow the poor with little income to be able to afford basic commodities. Three, that you should do everything possible to arrest the deteriorating currency, which is now among the worst in the world.
I want to use this opportunity to thank our security agencies, especially the police, for the hard work they have put into this. Both yesterday and today, government will continue to support you to make sure that consistently we live in peace and we guard jealously the peace that we have. I'd also like to thank you for giving us a copy of the petition that is supposed to go to the Speaker of Parliament. I'm happy to announce to you that government has already started meeting relevant stakeholders to see how best we can address this economic situation that has arisen as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and the Russian-Ukraine war.
Protesters eventually have made it to Parliament House, where a petition is expected to be presented to leadership of the House. We see Duncan Amwa of COPEC ready himself to present this petition.
As we sit, all the safety nets that could protect my colleague drivers here, my colleague civil society actors, the media particularly, the police friends we have are all down, and we believe that you as our representatives government are accountable so that something could be done about petrol. If you don't hold the city to account, if you don't draw in the Bank of Ghana, their short to medium to long-term plan for the local currency, July will bring more increases, August more increases, September more increases, November more increases. I am not sure we can afford it. And so we end here praying that this demonstration would see to it that you at least table certain urgent motions to bring the finance minister to at least ease the fuss. But we are quite confident that if in the next 2 weeks we don't hear anything, or continue across the country?
We would consider it within the general challenges of the Ghanaian economy. What's important is for us to preserve the peace of the country, the stability of the country, our democracy, even as we protest, which is legitimately guaranteed for every Ghanaian, and the peacefulness of it. And there were some infractions, avoidable if they were. We all should work to improve it so that police-civil relations does not suffer, and we work to keep the peace and stability of the country. You've raised very legitimate concerns.
Take it into the chambers, consider, ponder seriously over them, and consider how best to address them. So we thank you for bringing the concerns, the petition to us, and let us assure you that your representatives would not turn our backs on you, and that we will deal with the matters so that we will reposition the country.